stories about clotheslines and washing. And I have to preface this with, I don't really like doing the washing. Well, it's not really the washing so much that I don't like doing, it's all of the other things. It's the sorting, it's the folding, it's the putting away. The actual act of putting the clothes in the machine, that's fine. But I still don't like to do it. Anyway, for me, it all starts with the clothesline. The Australian classic, the Hills Hoist. If you grew up in Australia or New Zealand, you automatically know what I'm talking about. And if you ask any Aussie or Kiwi, they will most likely have a story about their clothesline. Don't ask me why this is, but it's true, trust me. The Hills Hoist, manufactured in Adelaide, South Australia by Lance Hill since 1945, is a common feature in almost every backyard. The Hills Hoist is a height-adjustable rotary clothesline designed to permit the compact hanging of clothes so maximum area can be exposed for wind drying by rotation, also says the Wikipedia. Like Kleenex, cling wrap, or Ugg boots, the term Hills Hoist is synonymous with the rotary clothesline. So now it refers to any rotary clothesline manufactured by whoever. Growing up, we actually had a real Hills Hoist. It was a sturdy, cast metallic monstrosity that was great and seemed somewhat porous. It was a very dull grey, and when it rained, it smelled like metal and sunshine. The classic Hills Hoist could be raised and lowered, and it rotated at the top. And when I was 12 or so, we built a new house, and with the new house came a shiny new Hills Hoist. It was a beautiful, bright green thing with shiny fluorescent yellow lines for the clothes. The main feature of our new and improved Hills Hoist, other than its ability to rotate and dry things efficiently, was that ours opened with a swift push from the bottom. It unfolded upwards like an inside-out cocktail umbrella, or like one of those new rain umbrellas that folds inward to keep the wet stuff on the inside. I loved our new clothesline like every small person loves things that they're not allowed to touch or play with. The clothesline, you could pull on the centre and it would fold back down and shut like a Venus flytrap capturing its prey. And oh, I could hang on to that center part, and with a swift push of my feet, I could unfurl the contraption. I could hold on for a brief millisecond. I would be airborne. Mum shouting from inside the house, "Surrender Lee, are you playing on the clothesline again?" No, Mum, definitely not playing on the clothesline again. And then you close it again, jumping up to grab onto the center and letting your body weight pull it down, playing as I should be playing on the clothesline. But there's not much to do in the country, and so you had to make your fun somewhere. Every washing day was an opportunity to build a fort or make a maze. On hot days, you could lie on the ground beneath the sheets, the water dripping on you, cooling you down, even just for a moment. Or maybe you could press your face into the towels, running face first through the wet. They dry quickly on hot days. In our old house, with our sturdy cast iron clothesline, you could take a running leap and grab onto one of the rungs and spin yourself around like one of those merry-go-rounds at the playground and go round and around. Or if I could get my brother to push one side, he would push and I would go round and around and around, going faster and faster until I couldn't hold on any longer and was flung off or dropped to the ground into the dry grass and dirt, dizzy and happy. It was pretty great. Maybe it starts with the laundry. It was my job from a very early age to do the laundry, and of course there were certain rules to follow. water back in to the machine so that you could use again. And if it's not too dirty after that, you could wash the kitchen tiles next. You could use the water 2 or 3 times depending how dirty everything was. So around this point, after you've used the wash water a couple of times, and certainly you used the rinse water a lot of times as well, you had to connect the other hose to the wash water so that it would drain out into the garden, because you really can't waste any water, of course. And then you use the rinse water as the wash water next. But because it was already fairly dirty from, rinsing other things, you had to move on down the list to the other things. So we already washed the brights and the darks and maybe the towels. You could do the sheets next, or the dark colours, or the bright colours. Well, it was also ordered in how dirty things were. So you wash the cleanest things first, and then the most dirty things later, as long as you didn't wash the whites last. It was pretty much okay. So you could reuse all of the water at least twice, and probably 3 times, because you didn't want to waste anything. It's a process. It had to be washed. You couldn't just let the water drain away without reusing it. I don't really like doing the laundry, in case you haven't noticed. I grew up in a rural area that grew a lot of sugarcane. In late winter and spring, and in the early evenings after the day had started to cool, when it wasn't too wet or too dry, it was burn time for the cane, right before harvest. Why? Well, sugarcane is very leafy, and the harvesters don't like the leafy stalks, so they would set the sugarcane fields ablaze to burn off the leaves. We were surrounded by cane fields, and the cane burned hot and fast, and you could always tell when the cane fire started because the breeze brought the scent of burnt sugar and ash. Dark pieces of cane floating down from the sky, like black snow. I would pretend that it was snow and try to catch it in my hands, wondering what snow actually looked and felt like, and did it have any kind of smell. More than once I didn't take the washing in on time, and the cane ash floating down from the sky, making dark streaks in the wet laundry on the line, or disintegrating into dark soot streaks on dry clothes, and everything needed to be washed again. I remember another time. I guess I was about 12 and my brother about 13. A cyclone was coming through, unwelcomed and unannounced. We brought the animals inside. It rained so hard the water came in through the sides of the closed windows. The washing stayed on the line for 4 days, and it was a wonder it didn't blow away. Michael and I couldn't leave the house, and our parents were stuck in another town about an hour away. I remember standing at my bedroom window thinking how the washing was ruined, and how strange it is that water can make a thing clean or dirty. It took 3 days for our parents to get home. They came by boat. Our house was an island in a dirty sea, and when the flood waters finally receded, I stood ankle deep in river mud, the washing hanging ruined on the line, needing to be done again.